Imagine waking up and thinking you're doing everything right. You get out of bed, start your usual routine, maybe check your phone, sip on that sugary coffee, or even skip breakfast altogether because you're in a rush. It all feels normal. But what if I told you that this very morning habit, one that millions of people do every single day, could be quietly shrinking your brain? That's not just a wild claim, it's a growing concern in the world of neuroscience and health. And if you're aiming for a sharp mind, clear memory, and long-lasting cognitive strength, this is something you absolutely need to hear. Brain shrinkage sounds extreme, but it doesn't happen overnight. It creeps in slowly, year after year, often without any obvious signs, until it's too late. You might start noticing forgetfulness, poor focus, or feeling mentally foggy. Then you brush it off as just stress or aging. But science is now showing us that certain choices we make first thing in the morning can trigger a cascade of effects that harm the brain's structure and function over time. This is especially alarming because the brain is at its most vulnerable during the early hours of the day, when it transitions from rest to wakefulness. What you do during this period matters more than you might think. Researchers have found that one of the biggest culprits behind brain shrinkage, isn't just a lack of nutrients or poor sleep, but a simple and often overlooked habit repeated every morning. It could be something as routine as skipping hydration, flooding your system with sugar, or even staying glued to your screen instead of getting sunlight. Each of these choices affects the brain differently. Some starve it of energy, others raise stress hormones like cortisol, and some even interfere with your natural body clock, throwing your brain off balance. The more you repeat this habit, the more your brain pays the price. This isn't about fear, it's about awareness. You, Dante, need to be a neuroscientist to protect your brain. You just need to know what S helping it, and what S slowly working against it. That's exactly what we're diving into today. In this video, we'll uncover the morning habit that could be shrinking your brain, and explore the science behind how it happens. More importantly, we'll show you what to do instead, so you can start your day in a way that supports mental clarity, cognitive strength, and long-term brain health. Stay with us, because your brain deserves better mornings. Skipping breakfast regularly may reduce brain volume over time, especially in areas linked to memory and cognition. It might feel like a small thing to skip breakfast now and then. Maybe you are running late. Maybe you just do not feel hungry. Or perhaps you think you are saving calories. But what if that seemingly harmless habit is quietly reshaping your brain? Emerging research suggests that regularly skipping breakfast may actually reduce brain volume over time, particularly in regions responsible for memory and cognitive function. A quick dash out the door without eating might be doing more than leaving your stomach empty. It could be shrinking your brain. The brain is a high-energy organ. It requires a constant supply of glucose, vitamins, and essential nutrients to function at its best. Breakfast plays a crucial role in replenishing those supplies after a night of fasting. When you skip that first meal, your brain is forced to operate on limited fuel. While the body can compensate to an extent, repeated deprivation in the mornings may lead to long-term consequences. Over time, areas of the brain that handle learning, memory retention, and mental clarity may suffer, leading to actual reductions in volume detectable through imaging studies. In fact, some studies have found that people who consistently miss breakfast show smaller brain structures in regions like the hippocampus, which plays a vital role in memory formation. This shrinkage is not just cosmetic. It can be linked to real-world effects such as slower thinking, memory lapses, and even increased risk of cognitive decline later in life. For people in midlife or older, these effects could translate to earlier onset of age-related cognitive disorders or a general sense of mental fog. It is not just about eating anything in the morning. The quality of your breakfast matters. Meals rich in protein, healthy fats, and complex carbohydrates provide the sustained energy the brain craves. Think of eggs with vegetables, oatmeal with nuts, or a smoothie packed with greens and fruit. These choices feed the brain with what it needs to maintain volume and keep the neural networks firing smoothly. Skipping breakfast and replacing it with caffeine and sugar may offer a short burst of energy, but can lead to crashes and long-term damage. The takeaway is simple, but powerful. Making time for a balanced morning meal is not just about physical energy or keeping hunger at bay. It is an act of preservation for one of your most vital organs. If you care about your memory, your clarity, and your mental longevity, do not let breakfast be the meal that slips away. Your brain will thank you years from now. Morning dehydration can impair brain function and contribute to long-term shrinkage if left unaddressed. Each morning when you wake up, your body is emerging from several hours of fasting. During this time, you lose fluids through breathing, sweating, and even through the moisture lost from your skin. Yet most people do not realize that one of the most dangerous things they can do in the morning is delay rehydration. The moment you open your eyes, your brain is already running on a depleted tank. Morning dehydration may seem harmless, but over time, it can have surprising and lasting consequences for your brain health. Your brain is nearly 3/4 water. It relies on proper hydration to carry nutrients, remove waste, and maintain the balance of chemicals that allow it to function properly. When you are dehydrated even slightly, your brain starts to struggle. You might notice brain fog, irritability, or a harder time focusing. But these short-term effects are only part of the story. Scientists are beginning to understand that chronic dehydration, especially when it happens regularly in the morning, can contribute to long-term brain shrinkage and cognitive decline. Skipping that first glass of water and heading straight for coffee or getting caught up in your morning routine without a drink may seem like a minor habit. But when you make this a pattern, your brain cells may begin to suffer. Studies have shown that repeated dehydration episodes can cause changes in brain volume and function. Over time, this may affect memory, processing speed, and even your risk of conditions like dementia. In the short term, dehydration reduces your brain's ability to efficiently communicate signals, which can impair decision-making and mood regulation. Rehydrating in the morning helps to flush out toxins that have built up overnight and restores optimal blood flow to your brain. Even a small glass of water first thing in the morning can kickstart this process. When your brain receives the hydration it needs, it responds quickly. People often report feeling more alert, more focused, and more emotionally balanced within minutes of hydrating properly. What makes this particularly alarming is that most people are unaware of just how dehydrated they are in the morning. Thirst is not always a reliable indicator. By the time you feel thirsty, your brain is already in a compromised state. Making water a non-negotiable part of your morning routine is one of the simplest and most effective ways to protect your brain in the long run. The habit may be small, but its impact is profound. Choosing to hydrate first thing is not just about quenching thirst. It is about preserving the very organ that shapes your thoughts, your memory, and your identity. High-sugar morning habits like sweetened coffee or pastries may accelerate brain aging and cognitive decline. Every morning sets the tone for the rest of your day. What you choose to consume right after waking up does more than just wake you up or satisfy your taste buds. It can directly influence the way your brain functions today and in the long run. Unfortunately, one common habit is quietly taking a toll on your mental sharpness and accelerating cognitive decline. That habit is starting the day with high sugar, reaching for sweetened coffee, frosted cereals, sugary pastries. Or flavored yogurt might seem like a comforting way to begin the morning. The sugar rush gives a quick burst of energy and the taste is satisfying. But beneath the surface, something more concerning is happening. When your brain is hit with high amounts of glucose first thing in the morning, it kicks off a chain reaction that can damage cells, promote inflammation, and interfere with memory and learning. The brain is highly sensitive to glucose, and while it needs a certain amount to function, too much too quickly causes spikes and crashes. These sugar surges lead to oxidative stress and inflammation, both of which are known to contribute to aging in the brain. Over time, regularly consuming sugary breakfasts has been linked to smaller hippocampal volume, the part of the brain critical for memory. Researchers have found that this shrinking can begin subtly but progresses with age, especially if high sugar intake continues. Another concern is how high sugar affects insulin sensitivity in the brain. When you overload your system with sugar, your cells can become less responsive to insulin, including brain cells. This makes it harder for the brain to regulate energy efficiently, increasing the risk of cognitive decline and even neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. Studies suggest that people with diets consistently high in added sugar perform worse on memory and attention tests over time. The good news is that changing this habit is within your control. Replacing that sweetened coffee with a plain version. Choosing whole foods over processed breakfast items and incorporating healthy fats and proteins can make a significant difference. Starting your morning with fiber-rich foods like oatmeal, eggs, fresh fruit instead of pastries can help your brain maintain energy steadily without damaging spikes. Even reducing sugar gradually can help your taste buds adjust and your brain function more clearly. What you eat in the morning is not just fuel for your body, but an investment in your long-term brain health. Small changes in your breakfast routine could be the key to keeping your mind sharp and your memory strong as the years go by. Starting your day with chronic stress or anxiety floods the brain with cortisol, which can lead to brain cell damage and shrinkage over time. Imagine waking up every morning only to flood your brain with a chemical that over time could slowly wear it down. That's exactly what happens when your day begins with chronic stress or anxiety. The culprit behind this silent attack is cortisol, often called the stress hormone. While cortisol plays an important role in helping the body respond to danger or pressure, consistently high levels in the morning can set off a chain reaction that harms your brain in the long run. Cortisol is naturally higher in the morning as part of your body's natural rhythm, preparing you to wake up and take on the day. But when it spikes too high due to stress, the effects become damaging rather than helpful. The brain becomes a primary target. Studies have shown that long-term exposure to elevated cortisol levels can shrink the hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for memory, learning, and emotional regulation. This means that starting your day with anxiety, whether it comes from checking stressful emails the moment you wake up or racing thoughts about a never-ending to-do list, is not just a bad habit but a destructive one. Over time, chronic morning stress can lead to forgetfulness, reduced focus, emotional instability, and even increased risk for neurodegenerative diseases. Brain cells under stress become inflamed and eventually die off, reducing both the volume and function of certain brain regions. You may not notice it immediately, but the damage accumulates slowly, quietly altering how your brain works. The danger lies in the routine. We often think of stress as a passing moment. But if you are waking up every day and stepping directly into a mental storm, your brain starts to suffer. This constant cortisol bath weakens neural connections and blocks the growth of new cells. It's like waking up each day and pouring a slow-acting poison over your mental clarity. Fortunately, the cycle can be broken. Swapping that early rush of anxiety for even a few minutes of calm can change your brain's chemistry. Practices like deep breathing, mindful stretching, or just sitting quietly with a warm drink before diving into the noise of the day can help lower cortisol levels. Even a short morning walk or journaling your thoughts can create a buffer that protects your brain from starting the day in overdrive. Your brain deserves a better start. By shifting your morning routine away from stress and toward calm, you give it the space to function clearly, grow stronger, and stay healthier over time. Lack of morning sunlight exposure may disrupt your circadian rhythm, affecting brain health and contributing to gradual volume loss. Every morning, the sun rises, offering your body and brain a powerful natural signal. It's time to wake up, move, and engage with the world. But what happens when you ignore that invitation? What if your mornings begin indoors, behind closed curtains, or under artificial lights? Surprisingly, missing out on morning sunlight may be doing more than just delaying your wake-up routine. It could be quietly affecting your brain health and contributing to long-term changes in its structure, including gradual volume loss. Your body operates on a 24-hour cycle known as the circadian rhythm. This internal clock is deeply tied to sunlight, especially the natural light you're exposed to shortly after waking. Morning sunlight sends signals to your brain that help regulate sleep-wake patterns, hormone release, and even cellular repair. When you skip that early dose of natural light, your circadian rhythm may become misaligned. Over time, this disruption doesn't just affect your energy levels or mood. It reaches deeper, influencing how your brain functions and even how it physically changes with age. Studies have shown that poor circadian regulation can accelerate cognitive decline. People who regularly miss out on morning light may experience memory issues, slower thinking, and increased risk of conditions like depression or anxiety. But perhaps most concerning is that these changes could be linked to actual shrinkage in brain volume. Brain scans have shown that individuals with chronic circadian misalignment sometimes show signs of reduced gray matter in key areas responsible for memory, emotional control, and decision-making. This isn't something that happens overnight, but it is something that builds slowly over time when habits remain unchanged. Morning light is more than just illumination. It contains a unique spectrum of blue light that helps suppress melatonin, the hormone that makes you sleepy. At the same time, it helps increase cortisol levels to get you alert and focused for the day. Without this signal, your brain doesn't get the wake-up call it needs. This can lead to grogginess, mood swings, and difficulty concentrating throughout the day. Worse, your sleep at night may suffer, forming a feedback loop of poor rest and poor recovery, which only adds to the risk of brain atrophy over time. The good news is that this is a simple fix. Just stepping outside for a few minutes in the morning, letting the sunlight hit your face and eyes, can realign your internal clock and promote healthier brain function. It's a small habit with big benefits. Your brain needs light as much as it needs rest, nutrition, and stimulation. Next time you wake up, consider opening the curtains or taking a short walk. You're not just welcoming the day, you're protecting your mind. So the next time you think about skipping breakfast, remember it is more than just a missed meal. It is a decision that could quietly impact your brain health over time. Your morning routine sets the tone for the entire day, and more importantly, it fuels your most powerful asset, your mind. Science is now pointing to a strong link between regular breakfast skipping and reduced brain volume, especially in the areas responsible for memory and cognition. That foggy feeling, forgetfulness, or trouble focusing? It might not just be stress or lack of sleep, it could be your morning habits catching up with you. If something as simple as eating a balanced breakfast can help protect your brain, maintain sharp thinking, and support long-term cognitive health, why not make it a priority? Whether it is a quick bowl of oats, a handful of nuts and fruit, or even a smoothie on the go, giving your brain that early fuel matters more than you might think. Your future self will be grateful for the consistency you start building today. Thank you for watching. If this video opened your eyes to the surprising impact of skipping breakfast, make sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who always says they are too busy to eat in the morning. Don't forget to subscribe for more science-backed insights into your health and well-being. And remember, small changes in your daily routine can lead to powerful long-term results. See you in the next video.